saying night.
Meetings, I've got a planning commission at the end of the month.
I think I'm not the night meeting. It's week of the month, planning and zoning here, right?
I don't want, I feel so frazzled today that I don't want to sit. Well, today's the deadline,
7 o'clock.
but I just don't want to jinx that I missed something, so I'm just gonna.
Hi, Scott.
No meeting.
It's so annoying. You gotta have that. You gotta have that.
Applicants sitting there.
You gotta have that.
I know, how do you not? There were 3 that RSVP'd that they couldn't. The others didn't. Tell me that.
Yeah, you can't have that.
I'd like to call the City of Fraser Zoning Board of Appeals meeting Thursday, January the 16th, to order. If you please join us, and we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a roll call, I guess, for
Commissioner Burley.
Present.
Commissioner Chimenti. Farina.
here?
Green.
Present.
Menendez.
Present.
Stashik.
Here.
That is a quorum.
Okay, having done that, we have some people to re-swear in, right?
Yep. We do. Folks, would you please stand? Both of you. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and perform the duties
of the Office of Zoning Board of Appeals
of the Office of the Zoning Board of Appeals
in and for the City of Fraser,
for the City of Fraser,
County of Macomb,
County
State of Michigan,
of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, need that signed by you when you get a chance at the end, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. Approval of the agenda for today. Are there any changes? Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll second.
okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes of December 5th, 2024. That was last year.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of December 5th, 2024 as submitted.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Okay, Chairman statement. Petitioners and members of the audience, the Zoning Board of Appeals, as herein created, is a body of limited powers. Where there are practical difficulties or unnecessary hardships in the way of carrying out the strict letter of the Fraser Code, the board shall have the powers in passing upon appeals to vary or to modify any of the provisions of the code relating to the construction, structural changes in equipment, or alterations of building or structures so that the spirit of the code shall be observed, public safety secured, and substantial justice done. No variance in the provisions or requirements of the code shall be authorized by the board unless the board finds evidence that all of the following facts and conditions exist. A, that there are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in the question or as to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties in the same zoning district. B, that the variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right similar to those possessed by other properties in the same district and the same vicinity. The possibility of increased financial return shall not of itself be deemed sufficient to warrant a variance. C, that the authorizing of such a variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent properties and will not materially impair the intent and the purpose of the Fraser Code or the public interest. D, that the condition or situation of the specific piece of property or the intended use of the property for which the variance is sought is not of so general a nature or recurrent a nature to make it reasonably practicable the formulation of a general regulations for such condition on the situation. Having said that, we are joined today by our attorney, Don Denault, our planner, Lauren Sayers, the city clerk, August Gustschling, and the rest of the crew. So, first up, new business of the board, public hearing on ZBA 24-08, 18377 East 14 Mile Road, Power Solutions, to obtain a variance from section 32-141 to allow the following exterior facade materials: aluminum plank system with a wood finish of Pollock aluminum composite material, where only brick and/or masonry stone materials are permitted. Is there somebody here? You guys, come on up. I understand. Thank you. All right, Lauren, could you lead us through it, please?
All right, thank you, Chair Farina. So this property is located at 18377 East 14 Mile Road, and it's located in the IR district. Again, the copies, again, apologies for the mix-up. The copies that you have in front of you are the correct ones. If it mentions loose stone, it is from a previous one, and I apologize for that mix-up. It's also, to clarify, it is not a use variance, it's a non-use variance, so a simple majority is all that is needed to approve. So the applicant is looking to utilize materials that are not stone or brick on the exterior facade. A point of clarity from the applicant's narrative is that section 31-141, which is the industrial district provisions, specifies that the exterior facing materials have to be brick or stone. So while section 3237 of the ordinance broadly addresses brick requirements and provides planning commission an avenue to approve alternate materials, this provision is superseded by the more specific provision in the industrial district, which is why the applicant is seeking a variance. So in reviewing the applicant's narrative against the standards for granting a variance, the first one, that there's an exceptional or extraordinary circumstance or conditions applying to the property in question that do not generally apply to other properties. We did not find anything in that would indicate that. The applicant also did not provide any commentary to that point. Again, so we don't find any exceptional or extraordinary circumstances, except that maybe being situated on a main road, but that wasn't submitted as part of the application. Regarding the second one, that the variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right like that possessed by other properties in the same vicinity, and the possibility of increased financial return shall not be itself deemed enough to warrant a variance. The applicant states that the facade is in need of repair. The applicant is proposing the material is durable and appealing to the community and complement the surrounding buildings. We do not believe that granting this variance is necessary for the enjoyment of a substantial property right. Neighboring IR properties have brick or stone exterior walls. The third one, the authorizing such variance will not be of substantial detriment to the adjacent property and will not materially impair the intent or purpose of this chapter or the public interest. Again, so the applicant did not provide any comment related to this item, but we do not believe that granting this variance will cause substantial detriment to adjacent property owners or a detriment to the public interest or intent of the zoning ordinance. And then finally, that the conditions or situation of the specific piece of property or the intended use of the property of which the variance is sought is not so general or recurrent in nature as to create a general rule. Again, the applicant didn't provide a response to this item. The surrounding properties within the Fraser city limits do not appear to have been granted similar rights. By granting these variances to the applicant, it's possible that other similar businesses in the vicinity will also request the same thing. So the E and F are not applicable, as this was not sponsored by the Planning Commission or part of a phasing of a required site plan improvement. So overall, while we don't believe that granting this variance would negatively impact the health, safety, welfare, or value of neighboring properties or the community in general, we do not believe it's met the ordinance standards, and as such, we do not find unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty. Therefore, we recommend denying this variance.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Sarah? Joseph?
Can you repeat that, what you just said, that last paragraph?
Sure. So while we do not believe that granting this variance would negatively impact the health, safety, welfare, or value of neighboring properties or the community in general, we do not believe that it's met the ordinance standards for granting a variance, and therefore we do not find it unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty, and so we would recommend denying it.
Yeah, you stated under the,
Excuse me, Mark.
oh, I'm sorry.
I thought you were done, Joe.
On this, December 31st, 2024, on page 4, and your conclusion is different than what you're saying now.
Are you seeing the, I accidentally put the wrong copy in the earlier packet that I sent out last week. It had mentions of loose gravel. I provided a clean copy at your seat.
Seen this, okay,
So that's the correct one, yeah, and I apologize for that.
revised.
Yeah, that was carryover from, if you recall, the Foundation Solutions application when he was storing loose gravel, so I apologize for that. That one. Sorry.
Member Burley?
Yeah, you stated that it says in the ordinance where only brick and stone building materials are permitted, but I don't see that in the actual code. It doesn't say only.
So section
32-141.
A, the exterior of all buildings hereafter erected shall be constructed of aesthetically pleasing brick and/or stone materials.
Yes, but it does not, and here, in your statement, it says aluminum composite material where only brick and stone materials are permitted. It does not say anything, it's only built with stone.
I'm sorry, are you talking about the application or the?
Right here, when you were giving it, you said where only brick materials are allowed. In the code, it does not say that only brick materials are allowed.
It says that it shall be constructed of brick and stone. It doesn't say any other.
Correct.
Materials.
So could it be you put metal over it? I mean, it doesn't tell you that.
That wouldn't be exterior facing because you wouldn't be able to see it from the outside.
I'm sorry, say that again?
If it was covered by another material, then it wouldn't be exterior facing because it wouldn't be on the outside of the building.
So that's what it's saying, is you can't, the exterior facing has to be on the outside.
Like what you see
Is that
has
what
to
it
be
says? Okay.
brick and stone.
Okay. Any other questions for our planner? Does the applicant have anything?
I do. My name is Shane Burley. I'm a partner at Studio Detroit Architects,
And your address is?
2040 Park Avenue, Suite 200, Detroit, Michigan.
Thank you.
When we approached this project, our client was looking to, by the way, this is an existing building. We are not proposing any addition, any square foot alteration. This is strictly a facade update renovation plan. And in terms of the building code and the zoning ordinance, there is a section in there that says, all plans for the reconstruction, remodeling, alteration, painting, repair, or any other changes in the exterior or appearance of such building or structure, front or fronts, including awnings, canopies, shall require planning commission approval when referred by the building official. So when we submitted our plans, we were done with the construction documents. We submitted to the city intake office, and through communication, it was determined that, we needed to seek a zoning board of appeal variance in order to proceed or even, excuse me. So what we're proposing is what we're trying to do is, I understand in the zoning ordinance is written for a ground-up, new construction, industrial district. It's pretty clear in there. It must be constructed of brick or stone. But the ambiguity lies in, what about the alterations of existing buildings? We dove in a little bit further and looking at your proposed master plan that is online and noting that this property is planned for commercial down the road. So if it's potentially proceeding in that way, what we're proposing, and I do have samples of materials we can look at so you can touch, the durability requirement that I feel is the intent of the industrial zoning can be and has been met with our concept and what we are proposing. The existing building right now has lower brick facade right below that dark line. This image on your left here is our proposed rendering, proposed concept. But if you take a look at the existing building, that dark gray area is already a metal panel. And that's a similar condition on many industrial buildings throughout the industrial district in the city of Fraser. What we'd like to do is maintain the intent and spirit of the ordinance, but swap out that corrugated, old-looking metal panel with a newer style aluminum composite material. And as architects, we have a lot of experience with this aluminum material. We call it ACM. I do a lot of dealership work, car dealership work, and if you've ever driven by any of those stores, that's that material on all those facades. It's clean, it's durable, it keeps out the rain, and it's a little bit of an upgraded aesthetic, honestly. So in our concept here, we are proposing to remove the existing top band, again, and replace that with ACM, and then create this entry tower. And the aesthetic of it, I feel, enhances the surrounding context of the neighborhood. This is not, I know there's certain requirements. We do not believe this is a financial gain for us. We believe that the owners of this property and their business are looking to invest. Not just an industrial building, but this is their place, their business. They want it to look nice. Again, I do have some samples if anybody wants to take a look at it. Anything else we should add, Chris? Want to come up here?
Could you introduce yourself, sir?
Chris Holzbeck, owner of Holzbeck Construction, 239 North River Road, Mount Clemens. I'm a contractor that was
Sir?
asked by the owners to bid this job, help them renovate the building. I was kind of surprised when we did apply for permits, because we do a lot of industrial work, that the ordinance of just brick and block applied. This building's on 14 Mile Road. It's more of a commercial setting. It's not set back in one of the industrial subdivisions. So I would say 90% of the building is just being updated because the steel panels are already on the building. They're full of holes from the previous 2 or 3 owners where they had signage and they took off. So I feel these owners are looking to spend a lot of money on this fascia to make their building look more professional on 14 Mile Road. So it's not like this building doesn't have steel panels on it already. The entryway, they wanted something that was inviting. That is new. That is not existing, but the rest of the steel panels are taking down existing steel panels and replacing them with newer, more expensive aluminum products. After I did meet with Lauren, I took a ride through Fraser because I grew up at 16 in Moravian, and I've been in Fraser my whole life. I've worked at the schools. I've worked through Fraser for 40 years. I took pictures of 30 or 40 other industrial buildings through the subdivisions, through the industrial subs that are not brick and block. Most of them have glass panels. Most of them have steel panels. They all have some sort of facade that enhances the brick or block. I didn't come prepared. I didn't send a lot of things in because I thought the last agenda that I saw from Fraser kind of sounded like planning was in favor of this. So I missed an email or something in between. But as you can see, these owners are willing to spend over $300,000 to stay in Fraser. And they've already outgrown the building, but they like the location, they like Fraser, and they're gonna spend a lot of money on this facade. So I'm hoping that the board sees this and approves it and lets these owners move forward. And I think it's an absolute enhancement for 14 Mile Road and Groesbeck area. I do believe it'll be the prettiest building, and I think they ought to get an award for beautification. So, thank you.
Can we see that material?
Yes.
You want to take us through it?
This is a sample of the aluminum system, right? How these panels are constructed and assembled, put together. It is not a representation of the color. We do have, well, just let you guys pass these around, but the blacks are the top band, and then this wood color is that entry tower feature. This is all aluminum material, so I don't, pass that around there.
Ed,
The existing brick.
just a second.
Thank you. The existing brick is to remain. We are not proposing to paint it or otherwise take it down or put something new up. If you take a look at our packet, the other two elevations, we do propose wrapping this around the corner. So this is not just a, flat facade. We want to give it some depth and, 3D geometry to that. And really, I do have some renderings, if I could pass those around.
So this is a aluminum wrapped plastic
Correct.
system? Okay.
Correct. We did increase, update the lighting within that. We do have some, the power solutions, electrical. I think that also enhances that facade. And you can kind of see how we're wrapping the ACM around the sides as well.
What is the life on this product?
Easily 20, 25 years.
You're saying I won't have to worry about it.
I won't have to worry about it.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Ma'am, do you want to speak on this? I would, yes, please. And you are?
Hi, my name is Erin Doan. I'm the president at Power Solutions, so this is my company. Together, my husband, Robert Doan, and I, we own the property being spoken of at 18377. This property, so I'd first of all just like to say, Lauren, I'm really confused by your interpretation of the code, and Mark, I appreciate you actually bringing that up to kind of challenge the actual verbiage in it. But more than talking specifically about the code, I'd like to appeal to just the common sense nature of the matter being spoken about. So last year, my husband and I, for the first time, we were so thrilled to be nominated for a Macomb Business Community Award, and it was for fueling the pipeline. And last year was the first year that we were actually awarded accreditation from the United States Department of Labor for our apprenticeship program, in which now we have 16 young adults who have entered this apprenticeship program at our company. And within the past 2 years, our company has grown 2/3 in size, and we now also have operations in Florida. We are looking to expand. We are looking to be a staple here in Fraser, Michigan. We don't want to move. We've actually spoken with the neighboring property, Electrolabs, whose owner recently, unfortunately, had passed away, but we're looking to build right here in Fraser and make this our home for our headquarters. We want to beautify Macomb and stay here. We're not going to be able to do that if we have a dilapidated building with the current conditions, because I'm telling you, just looking at this, if you were to drive by the property, you would see, just as the architect's spoken about, just as Mr. Holzbeck has spoken about, it does have current aluminum facade facing, and it's awful to look at. We painted the building, we've tried to do everything in code adherence to make it look better, but as a former interior designer myself, like, it's not pretty. I invite any of you into our building at any time, go to our Facebook page, look at us. We create quality, beautiful aesthetics. We're not looking to do anything other than beautify the city of Fraser and make it a wonderful place for us to build our home, continue making the economy of Fraser, the community of Fraser a better place. Unfortunately, if this variance is not granted, I am telling you as the owner of this company, we're not going to be able to stay in Fraser. We will look at buildings outside, whether it's Oakland County or et cetera, because we do need a building that can accommodate our growth and expansion, but we want it to be pretty as well. So we really do hope that this is granted. We're willing to work with you guys, but I think it's a beautiful space. And if you looked at what it currently is and you want to keep it that way, that's truly unfortunate. I think anybody just looking at it would say, we're willing to spend $300,000 of our own money just on the front facade, not furnishings, not interior, not anything else. I mean, that's a significant investment that we're wanting to do. I'm telling you right now, we will put it up for sale if this variance is not granted. And that would be really unfortunate for not only the city of Macomb, but for Fraser as well. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Is there anybody else that wants to speak on this? Anybody in the public that wants to speak? I'm opening public participation. Anybody? Okay, I'm going to close public participation. Okay. Is there any other questions, or go ahead, Mr. Burley?
I have a question for Lauren. When you look at their new rendering versus their old one, they have the whole addition of they have a whole addition where they're going up above the original building line, additional windows and additional sign. Is that already been approved in their plans? Since they're asking to change the facade.
The additional sign would be under a separate permit. They wouldn't be allowed to go any higher with a pylon sign.
The one on the very
Sign on the
front.
facade. They have not submitted a permit for that because the facade's not approved. But that would be a separate permit as well.
Would it require coming before us?
I don't believe so.
They even
no.
put it, no? Okay.
It's a wall sign, so under the new sign ordinance, there wouldn't be issues with
And the
that.
height and everything would be fine.
The height of the wall sign.
The addition that, going up
Height of
above their
the-
original building line. don't know, what
They're
do
not
you-
exceeding the existing building height.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Burley?
Yeah, do we know what the intent of the brick and stone of the ordinance? I mean, what's the intent of the ordinance that it has to be brick or stone?
Again, I'm guessing because it was 1996 is written. Likely part of it's aesthetic. Likely part of it is the consideration of industrial uses. You don't want something that's might be flammable or something like that. Is my guess.
Anybody else?
Just for my clarity, planning has already, they have not?
This would not go before Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? We have no other questions, and I'll look for a motion. I'm with you. Go ahead.
All right, here. I'm going to make a motion to approve the variance request for Power Solutions at 18377 East 14 Mile Road to obtain a variance from zoning ordinance standards to allow the following exterior facade materials: aluminum plank system with a wood finish and a polyc aluminum composite material where only brick or stone building material are permitted. And the reason for that is I think the intent of the code is for something that's stable and secure, and so that's why I think that it should be approved.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. Don? You have anything we should add to that?
Yeah, after you finish discussion, I was going to just jump in and ask the maker of the motion to extend the motion to say that as presented this evening, so that it can't broadly be interpreted to start refacing the entire building this way. They've given you a plan. I'm assuming your motion is limited to the plan they've presented.
Correct.
I also think that one of the reasons to approve this is that other areas that I've driven by, and I went down to see this, and I agree, it's going to be very, very pretty. But there are other buildings there with non-masonry on them, and that's if they have that right, then I think this building should have the same right. Okay. So I'd like to see that put into that as one of the reasons to enjoy a right that other facilities in the area have. Okay? All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any other discussion? Mr. Clerk, can you call a roll, please?
Commissioner Burley,
Yes.
Commissioner Clementi,
Yes.
Commissioner Farina,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Mendez,
Yes.
Commissioner Stasek.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Can you come up here? And I'm going to give you, I need another set of these, please.
No, I get to call them members, that's fun. Okay.
Yeah, he's trying to steal our mic.
Now karaoke can come back on.
Yeah, I noticed that. In case he comes famous.
Congratulations. Welcome to the neighborhood. Give me just a second.
Who made the second on this? Joe?
I did put 25
Joe,
on
make a
that,
second.
didn't I? I didn't put 24 on it, did I? Okay.
Emma, ask Joe if he made the second.
Joe seconded it. No. Okay. Okay, next item, item B, 7B, other. Interview of Scott Wall, ZBA membership. Hello, Scott.
Good evening, everybody.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. My current address is 1541 Rambling Drive. I have been a Fraser resident for over 29 years. And during part of that time, I was working full-time at General Motors. So Fraser was actually a convenient waypoint when I was going down to the GM Tech Center. As I got closer to taking an early retirement, I decided to take some of my experience as a business process engineer and flip it, where I wanted to have something that was more active, start to understand the community that, excuse me, that I've been living in for, a couple decades, to really understand the community. And so what I ended up doing was shop and deliver for predominantly the Fraser community. Now, I got to meet a lot of interesting people. That one couldn't get out of their house. So I liked that aspect of it. It was very enlightening to understand, the broad range of the community that I was living in. So I looked at that, and I'm going, well, there's got to be something else that I can do that could, further enhance this community's perspective. So I volunteered to do some of the elections. Ultimately, ended up becoming one of the chairs for Precinct 7 the last couple times to get more engaged. And, then I kind of asked, well, is there anything else? And I kind of let that be known to Cindy predominantly. Cindy kind of said, hey, we got an opening for the ZBA. Would you like to be part of that? And I'm thinking, okay, that will give me an opportunity to actually understand more what's going on from a business perspective within Fraser, because, there's only so much business that can actually be generated in Fraser. So I'm going, okay, this will give me another opportunity to, further understand, what the community is actually doing. From a long-term perspective, we plan on being here, myself and my wife, until well after she retires. She's got at least another 5 to 7 years. So from that perspective, we're not going anywhere because she's part of the Fraser school system. So unless she actually gets, an offer from somewhere else, she's going to be here. So it's not something, that's going to take us away from the city of Fraser. So I wanted to highlight that aspect because I know, people are always curious, okay, what are you doing short-term wise? What are you doing, long-term wise? So we plan on staying where we're at, from a long-term perspective. And I just want to, further enhance, what the community atmosphere is for the city of Fraser.
Okay. Scott, I'm sorry, who's up? You? Okay, go ahead, Joe.
You live on Rambling?
Yes.
You drive a Cadillac?
No, I do not drive a Cadillac. I drive a Chevy.
Getting specific.
I'm poor.
Scott, where do you see the city in 5 years? What would you like to see the city be in 5 years, 10 years down the line?
In 5 years down the road, I want the city of Fraser to have further exposure as one of the premier places to actually live in Macomb County. We don't want to be, absorbed into what Roseville or Clinton Township is doing. And, we want to have our own unique environment, so that, people that come out of the state look as Fraser as a viable place to come in. And part of that is not only looking at it from a residential perspective, but you got to have enough business to support, what the city of Fraser wants to do, as well as that further complements what the school system is doing. So am I slightly biased on making sure that the school system, stays viable and, that there is enough students coming in? Well, yeah, because that helps my wife, even though it gives her more work, but, that kind of keeps that aspect of it. But I want people to actually, understand, when somebody says, oh, yeah, I live in Fraser, Michigan, they go, oh, wow, that's just, like the proper area. Kind of like what you hear out of state when, people hear about, Grosse Pointe or Grosse Pointe Woods. You want to have that type of recognition, not only within Macomb County or the state of Michigan, but further out. So that's where, trying to enhance that aspect of it. And if there is consistency on how different ordinances and regulations are governed, that just gives further credence to some of the business owners that, they understand that, if you're going to do anything, you're going to be, non-biased, you're going to be fair, across, all different parties.
The job of the zoning board, our laws that we deal with are called ordinances. We actually give people the right to break the law. That's what the
Yep.
board does. That's why there's so many Italians up here. Anyway, but there are reasons that we have to abide by. I read those reasons off, okay? But you have to use common sense on what is doable and what is not doable, and what is maybe ancient in our bylaws or our ordinances that need to be addressed and changed. So all of those things you have to take into account when you're looking at these. You're going to be dealing with things sometimes that, by the way, Scott lives next door to me, okay?
You said it, I didn't.
He, across the street, we had to deal with somebody who wanted something that, but sometimes you're not going to be the most favorite person in the neighborhood with the neighbor, so. But you have to be able to shoulder that and go on, okay? Does any of that bother you?
No. And to also let everybody know, I did download a copy of a handbook that was published by the Michigan Municipal League. So I've read through that 32-page document to get a better understanding of exactly what I would be signing up for, and also to understand the nuances between, non-use variance versus use variance, and how that, would have direct or indirect impact to what's going on. So I try to do, a fair amount of research to kind of help my knowledge base to better understand, what I'm actually signing up for.
We kind of pride ourselves that we go out and look at every job site. It's not just a paperwork kind of thing. Would you be able to do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Do any of you have any questions for Scott?
Can you read blueprints,
Yes, I can read blueprints.
both
when-
residential and commercial?
Definitely residential, because I've built a couple houses, so I had to understand exactly what I was having my builder build for me. Commercial, I would just have to get, more knowledgeable on that, but I don't think it would be radically different than, my understanding of residential. Plus my early years, I was actually a purchasing buyer. So I was dealing with a lot of blueprints on various component parts. So I understand the nuances on, different material callouts. And if I don't understand the material, well, then I just research it to understand said material.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Donald, how do you want us to handle this? Do we need to ask him to leave, vote, or?
No, not at all. At this point, if there's a motion to be made, it would be a motion to recommend him for appointment by the city council, and if no one wants to make that motion, then his application would end here.
Okay. Is there a motion? Go ahead. Okay. Can you, motion to recommend
Recommend.
Scott Wall?
Scott Wall to
The ZBA.
City council.
be a member of the zoning board of appeals.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Is-
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions? Any discussion? August, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, I've been corrected, so I apologize for calling you commissioners. It's Member Burley,
Yes.
Member Chimenti, Member Farina, Member Green,
Yes.
Member Menendez, Member Stasek.
Yes.
Are hereby recommended.
Thank you.
Your city council has the final approval, okay? But
What kind of breakfast do you like? I cook every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Thanks, Scott, for volunteering. Okay. Okay. Election of officers.
Can I make a motion to reappoint? Is it, August, what is the formal, is it to appoint? If I want to appoint somebody, what is the formal wording?
To
Me,
nominate
you
someone for.
The chair.
Yeah, chair,
Nominate.
yeah, nominate.
Nominate, okay. Always get that one wrong.
Okay.
Okay. I would like to nominate Mr. Frank Farina as chair.
I'll second.
Do you accept the nomination?
I accept. I may fall over dead, but I'll accept. Okay.
You better not.
Vice Chairman.
That makes it me.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Burley for Vice Chairman.
Second.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else? Any other nominations?
I'll nominate Roseanne Menendez for
Wait,
secretary.
No. For,
Oh, sorry.
You have to accept, don't you?
You
I
accept.
said yes.
if there's no other nominations, by acclamation? Okay. Now, go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Roseanne Menendez for secretary.
Second. Anybody else? Any other secretary?
Yes.
I'll accept.
Okay.
I'll accept.
Any others? Okay. Then you are secretary by, okay. All right, Ms. Sayers, you want to quickly take us through this annual report?
Yes, so as part of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, the Planning Commission is required to submit a report of their annual activities. And as part of that, a lot of communities, Fraser including, also includes zoning board. So that's why it's before you today. It essentially just highlights the zoning cases, the planning and zoning cases that were seen in 2024, and if they were approved, denied. Additionally, it also briefly discusses zoning administration, just to kind of, I guess, keep everyone in the loop on the building side. So some highlights are total permits for the year, 1,124, and total enforcements, 1,352. Another big item that the Planning Commission got done this year was the sign ordinance, so we also included that as a major accomplishment. And then the second piece of this report is the 2024 work plan, or 2025, I apologize, work plan. And so this is essentially what the Planning Commission intends to tackle in the upcoming year. And of course, I'm sure zoning board also will have some input in some of these, but the first item under here is the master plan update. So the last master plan was adopted in 2021, so 2026 will be 5 years, and in 5 years you have to review it. This doesn't mean a comprehensive overhaul, just reviewing, making sure that it's still aligned with the vision of Fraser. And so we'll likely be starting that in 2025 for 2026. Additionally, some of these are carryover from the previous years, but we still have establishment of the DDA, business attraction retention efforts, implementation of new districts, and then continuing to develop and maintain the city's sidewalk network. That one's underway already with a grant from SEMCOG. And a lot of these are underway with the ordinance rewrite that we are in the middle of. So jumping over to the zoning ordinance update, you can see some items to highlight are looking at these maximum illumination standards, which we'll get into more tonight. Parking minimums, driveway lot coverage, automatic car wash standards, there's a moratorium on that one, and then transparency requirements. An item that Mr. Farina and Planning Commission asked to include was also building materials, so that was the plan to include that, but we will call it out specifically and add that. But tonight, what we are looking for is a motion to submit this to City Council and potentially with any changes that you might have.
If I look at the bylaws for the ZBA, it says that the vice chairman is supposed to look at this first and then give it to us.
The secretary is also supposed to do the minutes.
Yeah, here I am.
She does.
Careful.
She actually does.
That would be scary.
No. You review them and you make copious notes on them.
Yes,
So-
you do.
Don, do we need to look at revising that bylaw?
I mean, I think it's a matter of just practice. If you want to enforce that bylaw, you make that decision. If you choose to not enforce it because it's antiquated or unnecessary, you can just avoid it. It's not going to get you in any trouble to not follow it, let's put it that way.
Okay. Thank you. Legal advice.
It's not going to get you in trouble.
That's all I worry about, Don. Okay. Then I would make a motion to forward the ZBA annual planning and annual zoning report to the city council for their consumption. Well, they don't have to prove it. I mean, they
Receive and file.
receive and file.
Consumption.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. All right. Old business. 8A, ZBA 24-07, 34-625, and 34-835 Utica Road. Mr. Car Wash. Come up. Lauren? Okay.
We're just going to revote, right?
Yes.
So, the last zoning board meeting, it was incorrectly provided that 3 was the number to approve a variance when it's actually 4 is necessary. So this case is being treated as a postponement. It does not require an additional public hearing. I can provide the report for all members, or would you like me to hold on it?
No, yeah, hold on. I mean, we've been through it.
Okay.
I'm looking for a motion up here. Yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve ZBA 224-07-34625 and 34835 Utica Road, Mr. Car Wash, in the Commercial District. The request is to obtain a variance from Section 3286-6 of the zoning ordinance to allow the applicant to exceed the maximum allowed foot candle illumination measurement in a commercial use. The proposed maximum illumination in the driveway is 21 foot candles, where only 4 candles are permitted. The proposed maximum illumination for parking areas is 33 foot candles, where only 4 foot candles are permitted. The proposed maximum illumination for walks is 33-foot candles, where only 2-foot candles are permitted for walks. We find that complying with the current ordinance would present a practical difficulty. The illuminated light levels depicted on the photometric plan dated 7/17/2024, job 230116500, E1-1 submitted to the ZBA on 12/5 would provide safe lighting levels for Mr. Car Wash customers while on foot, in and around their vehicles, and while utilizing the vacuum stations, drying their vehicles, and applying of specialty products to their vehicles during business hours. Additionally, allowing other drivers in the area to safely see Mr. Car Wash customers. Authorizing of such variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property and will not materially impair the intent and purpose of this chapter or public interest, as the site does not abut any non-commercial uses and is located on a major thoroughway. There are no other express tunnel car washes with exterior vacuums located within the city of Fraser, and the intended use of the property for which the variance is sought is not of so general or reoccurrent in nature as to create a general rule for such condition or situation. The variance is conditioned upon adhering to the photometric plan dated 7/17/2024, job 230116500, E1-1, submitted to the ZBA on December 5th, 2024. The elevated illumination levels are to be mitigated on-site during non-operating hours by turning off the point-of-sale canopy lighting and every other vacuum light arm. The proposed business operations would be from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And that is a condition of your motion? That,
Correct. Yeah, I specified that
Okay.
last portion is a condition of the motion.
okay,
I got a question on that?
Yes.
Discussion on the motion?
Not yet.
hold on. We need a second. Anybody? I'll second it. Okay.
During closing hours, would it meet the under 5 candle lights?
Yes, because the lights get turned off.
Not all of them. So I'm wondering if, for some reason, after hours, would it meet the zoning code of under 5? Do you happen to know that?
Yeah, so I can't, I don't know specifically. I do know that on those vacuum lights, because we'll have every other one, I can dim those, so I can potentially dim those in those off hours to meet that 5-foot candle.
4.
Or for driving.
Or 4.
Okay. All right. Do you want to add that as a, to your variance?
Do you think that's such a problem, Mr. Burley? When you look at the actual
If he could-
photometric, if he's at every other one, and from his highest point going out, when he's about to 20 feet, he's already dropping. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the
light-
code
The
is,
light emitted is already down to 3, 5. When you get to, off of these higher numbers, he's down 3.2, 2.9, 2.7.
yeah, but
going
if
across
it's only
there.
half, it's cutting half. If he's cutting off half those lights in the canopy, right?
Correct.
It should be no less than half the light, right?
Just to clarify, the point of sale canopy, those are shut off completely. It's only the vacuum lights, every other vacuum light that would remain on.
Which is this portion right here.
Up against
Every
the-
other one.
Yes,
the-
correct.
Right.
So you're looking at, gosh,
Here you go.
bigger ones.
I see.
Sorry, I wasn't here last month, so. So what is the canopy lighting in each, as right now? In each light?
When you say canopy, are you referring to the vacuum
The
lights?
vacuum one, sorry.
So
Varies.
it varies because of kind of location and all of the other lights
Okay.
around it. I think it peaks at around 20, 22, something like that.
Right, so if you had every other one on, your light would only go half of that.
Correct. So it's
10.
probably about 10 right under the
Right.
light itself, yes.
He'll still be over.
Well, he said he could dim them to 5.
But 5 is still over. I mean,
Well, I can.
he's gonna
Four,
need a-
I mean, whatever it
He's
is,
going to
4.
need a variance no matter what, because there's areas that are out. So if we approve it according to this, it can't be any higher than this. And he's going to doom these and mitigate lighting.
I'm with Mark. I think that if he can dim them,
To whatever the code is, after hours, when you don't need them.
I'm comfortable with that as a condition, that every
You're
other
comfortable
vacuum
with
light-
that?
Every other vacuum light gets dimmed down to no more than 4-foot candles.
Okay. I'll change let me correct this. So, let's say the elevator illumination are to be mitigated on site. The point of sale canopies
will be shut off.
are off, and every other vacuum light is to comply with, what is it, 4?
Secretary Menendez, if I may.
4-foot candles.
Can it just be that it complies with code? Because if you're updating your code, it could change in the future. So I just want to be, just an ask.
I agree. With
Well-
the current code,
With the current code.
with the current code.
Counselor, is that okay? Or should it be specified to this? If we're holding them to this plan and we change it here, do we put something that's out in the future for the current code?
Both options are okay. If the will of the zoning board, assuming this were to be approved, were to limit them to 4 because you feel as a policy matter it should stay 4, then you make it 4. If you feel that you would defer to the wishes of council in adopting a new ordinance, and it happens to be 5, 6, 7, or 8 in the future, you can just say, as current code permits.
As current code permits.
I second that motion then. Is there any other discussion? I guess, roll call, please.
Member Burley?
Yes.
Member Clementi?
Yes.
Member Farina?
Yes.
Member Green?
Yes.
Member Menendez?
Yes.
Member Stasek?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Approved.
Thank you for coming back.
Good luck to your Lions. Vikings were not happy.
No luck needed.
I need to give you one of these.
Does that have the metric in it?
Yes. Do we have a second one, Lauren? Do you need one of these too?
Do I need one?
I have a second one. Do you want me to agree?
Yeah,
Here's the second. This is, no? Okay. I'm sorry? This one.
December 19th, 2024.
No, it's on the plan. Hold on. Right here.
Yeah, December version doesn't have the photo mention.
See right here? It's a July 17, 2024. This is what I referenced. So it's this document.
The date should be ridiculous. Yeah. This one's December though, and this one doesn't have that. The December one doesn't have the photo mention in it.
Well, since I referenced this, can't they use this one?
Yeah, but Frank signed it.
Frank, she's saying the photometric isn't in that December one. You have in front of you. Can you check it? It should be near the rear. Here's one. Is it the same, Lauren? July 17th? Yes, it's the same one. We're good. We're good, yeah. They're both the same.
conditions.
I did go
There you go. Thank you.
on one side.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
On a soft bagel. Just regular. And Frank wants his with marinara sauce.
One goes to
Okay, you have to stamp that one.
While I'm writing this, why don't we go, Joe, do you have anything you want to share with us? I'll give my report when I'm done writing this up.
We had our last fish fry on the 27th. We have another one at John F. Kennedy, Knights of Columbus. 4 to 7, $10 for 2 piece.
Turn your mic on, please.
On the 27th of January, John F. Kennedy is having the fish fry. 2 pieces for $10, 3 pieces for $13. You get a nice dinner, a roll, butter, French fries, coffee, and dessert. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Anybody else? Why don't we go down the line? You're counting your money? Do you have anything to add?
I am taking orders for City of Fraser polo shirts. We've identified a very delightful model of polo shirt that is wrinkle-free, dryer-safe, machine washable. So if you are interested, let me know your size, and I'll be receiving $25 from you. Once I have the t-shirts in, I'll give them to Frank, and his wife is going to embroider them with the City of Fraser emblem, and we can look like a team.
Thank you,
Perfect.
Emma.
Yep. Thank you. You helped.
Anything?
I'm all good, I think.
Mr. Burdick?
I do. Every year, I miss the December meeting because our family tradition is to go on vacation after Thanksgiving. So wondering if you guys want my services this year, we could have the meeting on the third Thursday. So it'd be an amendment to the schedule for the December meeting. I'm never here in January or December to approve it.
Can we do that? After we've voted on the calendar, can we amend the calendar?
You may amend your calendar at any time.
Okay. Are there any, what date would that be?
It'd be the 18th.
There's no council meeting, is there?
I believe it would be the 18th.
Do we,
Since you guys had an exciting meeting in December and I missed it.
Yes.
The council meeting will be the 11th.
Okay. So, all right, then I don't have a problem. Does anybody else have a problem? You want a
wait a
motion to that effect, Counselor? Or can we just?
Yeah, we'll need a motion because there was a motion passed last month
Okay.
with a unanimous vote to approve the schedule, so it would now need to be amended.
To,
December meeting to,
Make sure the date is right here.
looking at Thursday, the 18th. Is that what you were thinking?
I'd like to make a motion to amend the calendar of December meeting, zoning board meeting, to be the 18th.
I'll second that.
okay, is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
So that's December 18th.
Can we have an,
Okay, good.
can we have an updated calendar then?
Yeah, that'll go out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, get back on track here. Action items update, none? How is my favorite place coming? Don?
Would that be a park of some sort, Mr. Fruit?
No, it would not.
It's a bar of some sort, I'm sure.
Maybe a hall of some sort? I really have no update for you, Mr. Farina. I know the city manager has continually sent correspondence to the team that runs your favorite place, and the team has transitioned in the last few months to a new team just by virtue of, I think there was a death in the family, there was some other administrative and professional transitions. So last I've seen, we have not received a response to sort of the final details, but there's nothing major outstanding. It's literally, an easement document that they just haven't gotten back to us to have signed and recorded, maybe 2 or 3 of those. I don't think code had anything left on their list, engineering. I think for the most part, there's really not a lot to update you on. It's just dotting the i's and crossing the t's for some reason is taking forever. So we will, I know she will keep on them, as will we.
All right. Let's see. Lauren, you want to do the monthly report? Nothing? Is that what you said?
Okay. Did you want me to? Okay. I think the only updates really are items that were before this board tonight. Planning Commission saw the multiplex along Utica that this board approved for a use variance. Planning Commission postponed so that the applicant could revise their site plan and present a more compliant site plan. Planning Commission will also be seeing 17689 Masonic Boulevard site plan. They were supposed to be on the January agenda, but they postponed to again try, instead of meeting, they wanted to revise their site plan to be more compliant and come back to the February meeting. As I say that, I don't think I've received an application from them, though. So that might be March. The multiplex will also likely be March. And I believe that that is it. The Sheets is still, I believe, finalizing the conditional rezoning agreement, and they're currently working through the assessing and legal process of the parcels in the rear, and conveying those.
They had a demolition certificate, whatever.
It's not finalized yet. They have applied for demolition. They're still, I believe, working out some of the utilities and having to move or shut down those before demolition.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for her?
Yeah, I got a question. Whatever happened to that car wash that was supposed to be a mini mall in Utica?
So it's been demolished.
It fell down.
Yeah, it's demolished one way or another. And so they do still have their building permit, so they should be building. Those things do expire, so they should be building soon, hopefully, once the weather, of course.
Thought I saw a sign that said for sale there. The lot was for sale now.
I saw a sign that said coming soon and had a.
Is somebody going to be there to watch that? Because it's, from a new construction, it's easy to move walls and stuff easy compared to what they had.
So a building inspector will verify in the pre, and then we'll also do a post construction inspection as well.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Anything on the Dairy Queen?
Yes.
Oh, that's a U one. That's Mr. Dedont.
Yes, there is.
I think it's public information because it is a public court record that the city and the owner of that property reached an agreement through a mediator, a facilitator helping us get there. The short version is the agreement requires that that structure be demolished or redeveloped within 30 months, and if not, then it must be demolished 6 months after that. That condition applies even if the person tries to sell it. And we have some pretty stringent conditions in there about what that will look like. There's a site plan that has been attached to that judgment, so the site plan must be followed. There could be minor shifts, but for the most part, it would need to be followed. And that was a request of the owner, was in order to market it best, having that site plan already pre-approved is something then that he can use as a marketing tool to say, this is what you're going to be allowed to do or build here. Not necessarily a use, because that still has to go through you, if it's a zoning variance of some kind. But at least now there's a footprint, a building footprint, sort of an outline of what the property can be developed to look like if they take that building down. And then we have other stringent conditions in there too about maintaining it. One of the biggest things that we wanted to be sure of was things shouldn't be growing inside that building while it's vacant. So we made sure to cover that. We made sure to cover that we have, city has inspection rights every 6 months to get out there and get in there and make sure that they're complying. And then the judge retains oversight, of course, if they were not to follow the things they've agreed to. And then as an interesting side note, this morning there was a tax, or was it yesterday? It was this week, there was a tax foreclosure hearing related to the property, and I don't really know what's going on there. So we'll keep following that. I think there's a hearing in February. I don't know what happened there. It never came up during any of our conversations about the settlement. But that's where it stands. So if you pull out a calendar and count 30 months out from right now, that's about the time it shouldn't be there anymore. Or if it's still there, it's going to look a lot different. It's been a long time, and it was a difficult journey to get that
Yeah.
concession. It was not easy to get that concession, and they originally wanted 36, and then we back and forth. You know how facilitation can be, and we ended at 30, and we understood that pushing too hard on that wouldn't make any sense. The person, for whatever it's worth, has had a lot of time, but still should have time with the new clock being reset. 30 months seemed like a fair amount of time to market and try to redevelop, because maybe half of that time you spend trying to market, and if you don't pull it off, the other half, hopefully, you spend redeveloping or rebuilding.
You said your favorite place. I wasn't really sure which one you were talking about.
He has a few favorites.
Yes.
That wasn't it, was it, Frank? That wasn't your favorite.
No. Oh, big. BB. Aaron, Lauren, thank you. Thank you for this. Okay, I think this is a quick reference guide. In your packet this month, Lauren gave you a whole new set of bylaws. I asked that each one of you go through and toss your old bylaws out and replace them with these so that we don't find ourselves, because when we were looking last time, somebody looked at the wrong bylaws, and that's how the vote came about. Planning Commission liaison, that's my report. We looked at Mr. Car Wash site plan amendment last night, not a problem there. By the way, they have alternate materials on their building, okay? On Utica Road, there was a duplex condominiums. We actually sent them back to redo the plan because there were a lot of things that, like, where did they put their trash? How did they get their trash to the front yard? There was not a dumpster there for community trash, so each one of them would have to have a barrel. There wasn't a walkway for them to do that. There was no place for them to sit outside, to enjoy the outside. So we asked them to go back and look at what they're doing. There was another one on Masonic, the strip mall, and that was postponed. The applicant asked for that to come up in February, so that was not done about. Election of officers, Randy Warnick is the new chairman of the Planning Commission. And
I was there too, and I don't remember.
Is it Kathy?
And then your partner is the secretary, so, okay. All right, and that was about it. We talked about driveway expansion, text amendments, and that is a real thing that's happening. So if you want to be in on that conversation, you need to come to the Planning Commission meeting and/or see Lauren, and she would be glad to bring you up to date on that. Additionally, Lauren has started us down a path to look at the entire set of ordinance for the city and the zoning map for the city. And she gives a bunch of homework to do for the steering committee for that. And so we'll be working on that also. And when is that date for where they can,
It's January 28th, that's a Tuesday, from 6 to 7:30,
that's going to be where?
right in this room, yep.
Right, okay. Yes.
Everything
It's,
is open.
it's aggressively open to the public, yes. We hope all the public come.
By the way, she has a survey out there about the new ordinances and what we want to see the city look like. And if you fill out this survey, you have a chance to win a $50 gift certificate.
So a couple Fraser businesses did donate $50 gift cards, so we've got 3 of those as raffle items.
So there's been only 49 people who have filled in this survey. So you've got a good chance of winning $50 if you fill this survey, so. And it's good to have your input, right? Anything else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
For anyone who may be interested, if you're missing Alyssa from my office, she did have a beautiful baby girl.
Oh, great.
That was the day after Christmas. They forced her to do it early. She said they said the baby was ready. So she has a Christmas baby, essentially, and started her maternity leave, and that's where she currently is at. But I think she's enjoying every minute of it, and her daughter looks beautiful. So just so you know, she's in a good place right now, and I don't know that she misses us the way we miss her, but but we hope that she'll those feelings will be rekindled in a couple
Well, in
months.
a month when he's screaming.
Yeah, all right.
Lauren,
Fantastic.
did you want to add anything? Any comments?
No, I don't have any comments, thank you.
August, you have any?
Wonderful job recommending Scott to the council as one of my election workers. I love it when the committees pilfer my election workers because we've kind of vetted them already once, so it's a good idea, so.
And on that note, do we still have, and maybe August can find, do we have the training videos, the videos of the trainings that we've done for all of you? Because I think he'd benefit from that greatly if he could watch that.
I think we do.
Something I'm going to look for tomorrow, apparently.
Fantastic.
Yeah, training videos, got it.
All right. I will,
Whoa here, Joe.
if that's it, is there any public to be heard? Anybody in the public want to be heard? Scott, you want to be heard?
I heard enough.
Closing the public hearing. All right. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Who was the second?
Joe.
Okay.
Will say you do.